What makes people rich in investing? Is it finding that right stock or asset that's about to balloon in value? Is it luck? Is it an education or a strategy that Warren Buffett has and none of us really understand or can get from him? It isn't any of these, spoiler alert. But if you do understand what does make people rich in investing, you can absolutely be successful. It's not hard or tricky, anyone can do it. Whether being rich means amassing a mountain of net worth, or just being able to have the time freedom and no financial anxiety to be able to do whatever you want to do. I'm Susan Elliott, and in this video, I'm going to describe what makes people rich in investing and go into one of the best investment vehicles to make this happen for you. First, go ahead and subscribe to this channel and like this video so that we know which content is helping people out and we can create more of it. Okay, let's jump in. First, we have to figure out what the word rich means to you. Otherwise, we don't know where we're going. Like, we can't talk about the best way to travel somewhere if we don't actually know, generally at least, where we are traveling to. That's like asking what the best gear is to buy before you even know what kind of adventure you're going on. A snowboard is not going to help you on a rafting trip or riding camels through the Moroccan desert, for instance. Let's look at some ways we could define the word rich and then talk about some of the best investment pathways to be able to get you there as soon as possible. So what is rich? Is it being able to buy whatever you want, however much you want, whenever you want? Is it having everything you need so that you can live comfortably without having to worry about money? Is it being able to live on the beach somewhere and just listen to the ocean waves and have everything be magically perfect for you? Or is it amassing just a big pile of net worth, like we said before, like some sort of stash of cash in the closet somehow? Is that being rich for you? Or better yet, maybe a better question here is, how do you know that you've become rich? At what point are you rich, right? So we're speaking about rich as if it's like a big spectrum of things, but we're identifying distinct portions along that pathway. So if I have this, or if I can live like this, if I can be this, I will feel rich, right? This can be really hard to define. But first, we have to look at this kind of stuff before we start talking about the best tax-sheltered investment accounts to leverage or the best types of portfolios to accrue, because if you're just going to start accruing all that stuff but you don't know where you're going or what you're going to do with it, you're going to not really enjoy the accrual process, but you're also never going to know when is enough. And really, becoming rich is knowing what is enough. So first, back up. Define what is being rich to you. This might just be simple journal exercise. What do you envision life would be like when you are said rich? I know for me, I want to be able to buy the equipment that I need to play, to be able to go on those experiences. So there's a financial component to me being rich, but there's also rich in time. I'm able to kind of decide when I want to go for my morning runs, when I can take my kids on a weekend trip or a week long or a month long or a year-long trip, right? So those are just some of my definitions of being rich. Take the time right now to decide what being rich is to you. So if you're still daunted and you don't know where to start, you can start right here on our channel, and specifically our podcast. I'll link to a video up in the corner up there of the Life and Money Show. This is the podcast that Annie Dickerson and I have, and just recently we did a 3-part series on crafting your life by design. And this really is talking about that lifestyle piece. What it means to be rich to you is a component of that. So go ahead and listen to those 3 episodes if you don't know where to start, to be able to start moving towards your rich version of rich right now, and not just once you amass this massive pile of wealth one day. Also, I have to give a shout out to the rich guru around here in the financial space, and that's Ramit Sethi and his awesome book, I Will Teach You How to Be Rich. He's got a great podcast, also a Netflix show now, so check out his content. He has great ways to frame your thinking around what it means to be rich. He guides people through it on his podcast. It's awesome. It's like being a fly on the wall and some pretty intense financial conversations between couples oftentimes. So check out that if you want to know a little bit more about what it means to be rich. Okay, but most of us are going to have as a part of that definition some form of financial independence or financial freedom as being rich, because ultimately that gives you back your time and you can do whatever you want with it after that. So let's take a look at the best investment vehicles to be able to get you to financial independence quickest. So we'll compare two different, very popular investment pathways, two different strategies here. And one is that low-cost index fund investing that the FIRE community, the Financial Independence Retire Early community, really, really loves. I have some of my wealth in low-cost index funds as well. And we're also going to compare that to real estate investing. These are the top ones that people go with. Now, I'm not going to dive into all these niche other investment strategies like crypto and all those things. You can look at those when you want, but I don't think that those are going to make you rich, right? Those are a little bit more of a gamble. Those are a little bit more of in the beginning, like, are you playing at the game here and trying to get luck on your favor? We don't need luck to be able to become rich, okay? So another thing in order to level the playing field here is that I'm going to talk about passive real estate investing. This is the kind of investing where you join as a group together and invest in a larger asset with a team, with a sponsor. So you have someone doing all of the work for you. They do all the landlording, all the management, they even source all the deals, they do everything, and you still get great returns and all of the benefits of real estate investing. This is taking the sweat equity piece out, which often, honestly, doesn't yield more equity in the end. Okay, so we're going to compare index fund stock market investing, 7% annual return, and passive real estate investing. I'm going to link to the video where I dive into the assumptions behind this model that I created, my little spreadsheet brain of mine that likes to compare and project things out over time. So if you want to know more about that, go ahead and watch that video. One note is that you can use a tax-sheltered investment account to invest in both your low-cost index funds, both in the stock market and real estate, okay? So most people say, oh, but I want to use these tax-leveraged accounts. I want tax-deferred, be able to grow my wealth, using that. But you can actually do that in real estate here. A lot of people don't know that. So that's an aside. Those are types of accounts. We're going to talk about the types of assets to be able to grow your net worth. Okay, so this model, these numbers we're going to look at, is looking at $10,000 invested over the course of 30 years. So $10,000 every year. This is a really approachable amount. This isn't some sort of like invest $100,000 every year. That seems kind of difficult to do in the beginning. If you're an early stage investor, that can sound really daunting and like, oh, I just will never reach that. So $10,000 is actually possible. Even if that number sounds daunting to you, make some spending changes, make some spending cuts probably. Be conscious, get a little side hustle, a little gig every once in a while, and then I bet you at the end of the year you're going to have an extra $10,000 to invest. So before I show these numbers, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already and like this video. Let's dive into the numbers. All right, in this video we're looking at 30 years right there of real estate investing in stocks. After 30 years you're going to have about $1 million in stocks if you invest that $10K every year, and you're reinvesting everything. But your real estate portfolio, $2.1 million. That's a big difference. In fact, that difference is $1.17 million. I don't know about you, but $1.17 million is a lot more rich than 1 million, or 1 million to $2.1 million. So if any part of your definition of being rich is the financial piece, the passive real estate investing is going to get you there a lot quicker. And again, we're reinvesting everything along those 30 years, right? So you're reinvesting the profits. A lot of people do that as they're working towards a retirement scenario. You're not pulling any of the cash flow in that scenario. But let's pretend we want to pull the cash flow a little bit earlier, right? Because 30 years can feel like a long time away. So let's look at the next graphic. Okay, here we're looking at that same 30 years, except in year 22, we're going to pull $50,000 of cash flow. In our real estate portfolio, it continues to go up. But if we pull $50,000 from our net worth in stocks, we're going to go down. In fact, in year 36, we're going to see a net worth of $0, right? So that is if I'm pulling $50,000 and also if I'm stopping investing that $10,000. This is a big difference. So if your idea of being rich is, again, amassing that big pile of wealth for one day, or maybe it's starting to pull the cash flow as passive income along the way to live your rich life a little bit sooner, real estate is going to give you a lot more flexibility to do that. You're going to be able to pull a lot of that income out sooner and have that net worth continue to grow and to continue to build. Whereas pulling that much out of a stock market account and stopping investing, as we did in our model, is going to not be so good for you in just a few years, right? At year 36, that I would have continued out to hitting $0. And $0 is not rich. I don't care who you are. So let's get back to our original question. If you're looking for what makes people rich in investing, the answer is 3 things. First is knowing what rich means to you. Second is starting to invest, because you can't get anywhere if you don't start. And the third is time. One of my favorite books from last year was The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Now, Morgan has written about financial concepts and investing, the behavior behind it, everything about it for decades, right? And in this book, he drives home the point that the single most impactful element of what makes people rich in investing versus what makes people not rich is the amount of time they stay invested. Now, millennials, I'm talking to you, right? And trust me, I'm an 83 baby. I speak from experience. I am an elder millennial. Thank you, Eliza Schlesinger, for giving me that title. I know I don't look it one day. If you start investing at age 25, you could be a millionaire by the time you're 50. Then time plays a great magic trick on you, and in the next 5 years of that, if you continue investing, you could have yet another million. This is the power of compounding. This is the power of reinvesting your proceeds, your profits, everything in those early years to be able to build your net worth and see that hockey stick growth in the value and of the wealth that you have, right? So this is all time, but time works better when you pick the best investment vehicle. And according to my research, that is passive real estate investments as opposed to the stock market. All right, that's it for today. Please hit that subscribe button and like this video, and we'll see you next time.